Well, hello, chaps. I don't know if you're going to show up or not, but that's okay. Playing around with something for your game, and what I thought I'd get into is a little animated map work with one of my favorite programs. This is called Moho. Why am I? Yeah, I know. Why is it? Why am I so excited? Well, this is probably the first major upgrade of Moho that I've cared about in probably 3 years. I thought it was dead software and nobody was going to develop it. Then they came out with a version of it that I did not like, and it didn't have any features that I thought were useful. And then what they did is they rolled back that update, retconned it, and now they've given an update that brings like substantial changes. So fortunately, it's exactly the sort of thing that I can use in your game. So what I'm going to do is these pools of I'm not going to tell you what, I would like them to pulse and do interesting things for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this new feature, which is a kind of open mesh animation. So what I'll do is I'm just building the mesh right now. It might not even work because I'm new to it. Saw one tutorial, and so I client it here. You can hear. I don't know if you can hear the little happy clicks that Moho makes. It's one of the things I like best about it. How mature is that? Ah, what does maturity have to do with anything anyway? All right. So as I understand it, I have to connect point to point. I can't let any points just kind of randomly hang around as I create this mesh, this grid. So I'm bringing it all together. Right, there we go. And I'm going to put another point there. I'm trying to see how I've done this with a simple quad, but I want to see if this can do something a little more interesting. All right, so now what you'll notice is that if I were to select all the points, there is no junction in the grid. So I'm going to try to create that. Very handy way to do that is I select all of the things, click on Get Weld Crossings, and that creates the points there. So then I grab all of the points there, run the handy script that I just learned about today, draw, fill, mesh quad, and it did a great job. There's the mesh quad hidden under your map. Now let's see if this actually works. Double click on this, go to image, smart warp layer is the new feature. It does show the map layer. So I click OK. This is changed into a mesh layer, you can tell, because the icon that's come up there. So now I move to any point on the timeline, and I should be able to just move it around, and I can. Now, if what I'm trying to do is make it look like it's kind of pulsing, why is it pulsing, you ask? Well, you don't get to learn that until Sunday. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a simple repetition on that. So a cycle, and then have a look and see what it looks like. So give it a quick run. It's too fast, so I could rescale it, but there are only a couple of frames. So this is meant to be a pulse, it's not disco. So 2 second, what's it look like? Good, except not a cycle because it's not cycling, it's jumping, as you can see. What I really need to do is make it ping pong. But now I'll just make a simple cycle. So I'll copy that keyframe and I'll put it there. That's weird. Start again. Okay, so we go back to the first key. Zero frame in Moho is what's called, well, it's actually called the zero frame, but zero frame is where you do all your art editing, and your timeline is where you do most of your animation. So if I were to try to edit this art in frame one, I couldn't do it. So I go back to the art frame where I can edit it. I can change positions, things like that, and it doesn't affect the mesh. connection to the raster graphic. So grab this point here, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on each of the points to create keyframes for each of those points. So what I've got is an initial keyframe. Then what I'm going to do is go here, go to the furthest extent where I want that to be, and just play a little bit. That's the fun thing about animation is you get to play. All right, so it gets big, and then I want it to go smaller. So ultimately, I want it to go back to here, right? So here's a little trick. I grab that keyframe, and I copy it, and I put it at the end, right? The problem is if I turn that into the cycle, then there'll be a pause at the end. Now, maybe that is what I want, actually. But if I didn't want there to be a pause at the end, I could take this position right here, grab a keyframe there, boom, 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 right? Delete this keyframe. And what I've generated is stop it. What I've generated is a keyframe that is almost at this position. So that will be, I think, a pretty good cycle. So now I'm going to grab both of the, it's the same track. What are both of the tracks? What do I mean? It's the same track. Well, each track is like something you animate. So in this case, I'm animating point motion, right? Very simply. This guy here is the point motion for the one I happen to have clicked on, right? So that's what I mean when I say they're the same track. It's like point motion. This is all the points. This is the point I'm selecting, right? So now I'm going to go, let's see, what do we got? Did I create a random keyframe? All right, I think I did. I got too many keyframes. Can't stand having extra keyframes. They mess things up. Good free keyframe control is essential for keying animation. So now I'm going to cycle. We'll make it there's new stuff here. Oh my goodness. Nice. I like that. Okay. Well, this is an enhancement of the keyframe menu that has been around for a while, but it's kind of neat. Oh, a little bit of consolidation going on here. All right. Well, you know what? I'm just going to make it an absolute cycle. So that just means keep doing it over and over and over again. Stagger, I don't think so. That would make it kind of joggle at the end a little bit. So now I'm going to play the. Okay. Now maybe I think a little bit faster than that, maybe. Maybe not. It's pretty regular. That makes it look more like it's breathing than anything else. So if I stretch that out a little bit and grab this here, then that'll stagger it a little bit and I'll get a more. That actually looks even more like breathing. You get the idea. It's meant to be something really subtle. It's not meant to be. Okay. There we go. That's not too bad. All right. So now I think I'll have the entire thing move at the same time. It wouldn't make any sense if it didn't. So actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to grab every one of these keys, right? And I'm going to click here, and that should do all of them there. Like put a keyframe there. An easier way to do it probably is like force a keyframe, right? So if I grab this guy and I go to animation, and I say I want to set a key, add a keyframe, then that forces a keyframe. But the problem is it forces a keyframe in just about every major domain. So it puts it in, at least the transforms. It puts it in move, scale, and rotate. Okay, I can live with that. It's easy peasy. So now if I go here, and I'm going to grab this guy here. Stop it. This is one thing in almost every other program. Grabbing something and moving it are the same control. In Moho, it's different. So this is get, G, right? And this is move, P. And I'm forever confusing those. So this time I'll do a little like that. And again, I'll go to here. Copy that keyframe here. Actually, this one I can do only the keys, I can use the only applies to this keyframes here, so I don't mess something up. So I grab this guy here and I say, yeah, I only want that one. Grab it, go to the end. Actually, go to where the other one is. Paste. There we go. Do that little trick that I suggested, which is force a keyframe. This time just by double clicking on the track. A couple of ways to force a keyframe. Drag that onto there. And now I got this little guy as well. Haven't got the cycle yet. So grab that, cycle it. Everything's good. There we are. So now I've got both sides. There we go. All right. So it's kind of weird there, but if you take that, okay, so there's a new feature that seems to, when I drew a shape around the object, it crops the outside of the object, which is great for some applications. But in this case, I really don't want that. So what I'm going to have to do is dupe this layer here, right? Put this layer, I'm going to call this one static BG, right? And I'm going to put it underneath here, so it's there. And then I have to take off the binding so that it shows up again. There we go. And what we should have now, yeah, there we go, is superimposition. So we got the animated layer on top of the static layer, and it creates that. So, okay, so it's moving the ground as well. So if I really wanted to put a lot of effort into it, I could, refine that mesh. And I think now that I know how to do it, I think I will. But, you guys are all going to be so surprised, so shocked that I have animated maps at all that I don't think it's going to matter what's moving. So what I need you all to do, if you're watching this stream, is I need you to forget that you saw this so that you will be flabbergasted and surprised and happy with this. Alrighty? So I see 2 people are watching. That's pretty cool. Feel free to dump into the chat and let me know who's watching. That's kind of interesting, especially if you're interested in animation. All right, there we go. So I'm not going to show you this whole planet, but I do want to give you a sense that, yeah, you are going to be on an away team mission. Something that pulses is going to be involved. You're going to have to figure out what, and I guess that will be the fun of it. So I'm going to run a test in this. I'm going to go and I'm going to export it as an animation. Now I want a cycling animation. I don't want to put out the entire animation, whatever it is, thousands of frames. So what I'll do is I'll just put out the cycle. So again, I go to here. I've forgotten what the cycle is. So I go to this layer. I'm going to go all the way back, find my keyframe. So it cycles on the frame 57. So we go from 1 to 57 is our cycle. All right, there we go. So yeah, that's right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put that out. Export animation. No, my VTT is Encounter Plus for iPad, and it can support video maps. I've been dying to use them, so that's cool. So I'm just going to put it out there. Where am I going to put it? Always practice good file management. It goes into my Star Trek Adventures and Shakedown Cruise. You can't see that, can you? Maybe you can. I don't know. So here we go. So I'm going to go. Oh, can you or not? Oh, I guess not. Oh, I'm saving it. I'm saving it in the right spot. That's all you need to know. All right. So this is planet pulsing. You'll have to need to. You're going to need to come up with a name for this planet. I think that might be the first thing that we do. Okay, planet pulsing. Okay, so now I guess what resolution do I put in? And right now it's almost just over 3000 by 1700, which is what I rendered it at. I'm wondering if I should render it. Oh no, actually that's half dimensions. It's actually 6100 by about 3000, so it's pretty big. I think I'll render two versions of it. Again, I'm not sure if you will see this, So maybe what I can do is I can switch my streamer to my display capture. See if I can do that. Boom. There we go. So there, now I'm switched the whole display. It's a little better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to back to Bluer Sun here in Moho. And now you can see now it makes more sense now that I'm doing all this talking about saving. And what was the frame? 57 is we want to cycle a frame. We'll do it in video. Again, what codec? Well, we only have two codecs to choose. I could choose an MP4 or an M4V. I'm going to gamble on MP4. Doesn't matter. I can re-render it. So now I'm re-rendering. Okay, why does that not look good? That is not rendering the way I want it to render. That is not at all the effect. No, you are bad. Something's gone wrong. Okay, maybe because I have the streamer running in the background. Yeah, that's so dramatically good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just check it in here, and if I run it like that, it's fine. And if I go File, Preview Animation, just runs a little automated version of the preview. That's good. Okay, so the animation itself is looking good. I'm wondering if it's just that the full screen render is not working because I've got the I've got OBS showing you that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll turn it back to DD like that. Things don't work out. I'm probably going to have to quit the stream to render it. Let's find out. So I'm going to go File, Export Animation with previous settings. That's really handy. Okay, one thing I'm noticing is that it's rendering to only one CPU, and that's really bad because I have like 16 CPUs, so it should be rendering on all of them. Okay, so yeah, it's not happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quit it. I'm going to stop the stream with apologies, and I'm going to render it. And if I was successful, you will see a nice rendered animation in your maps on Sunday. And if not, well, you'll know I didn't quite succeed. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'm going to have a few more of these. So hope to see you again sometime.